So let's understand how we are going to contract this to-do Mern application. Okay. So as you can see that we have the three things over here. So the first thing is front end, then we have the back end, and then we have the database. Okay. So our front end is dependent on the back end and back end is dependent on the database. So I hope you have clear idea on this one. Okay. So the first thing what we are going to do, we are going to create two Docker files. So the first Docker file will be for front end and there will be one Docker file for the back end. So we have the two Docker file on the each folder because we want to build a front end as well and the back end as well. So as I mentioned, we are using the same command like npm install for the front end and back end as well, and npm start for front end and back end, which means we have to install all the dependencies in the both. So hence we are writing two Docker files for front end and back end. So I hope you have clear idea on this one. Okay. So let's move ahead. Then what we are going to do, we are going to create a Docker compose file. So in the Docker compose file, what we are going to do, we are going to build the both files like front end and the back end. So then we are going to use the Mongo image for the connection of MongoDB. Okay. So once you build the Docker compose file, so what will happen, it's create two images for you for front end and back end. And what we are going to do, we are going to push that images front end and back end to the Docker hub. So once you push the front end and back end image to the Docker hub, then what we are going to do, we are going to create another Docker compose file, and in that file we are going to pull the front end image and the back end image along with Mongo image. Oh, so we have the three images. Okay, and using this images we can able to run our application, and later on once you're done with all the things, and what will happen, we are going to contract these three images into single one, which means you just have to pull the single image, and using the one single image you can able to run the whole application. So most of the people get confused and they are thinking it's very tricky, but trust me, it's very easy. So if you follow me along, so it's going to be so easy for you as well. So let me revise all the things once again for you. Okay, so as you can know that we have the front end and back end. So we are writing two different Docker files for front end and back end, and later on we are using Docker compose file and we are going to build both the files, okay, the front end and back end, using Docker compose, and also we are going to import a Mongo image and we can able to run the application. So once you build the Docker compose file, so what will happen is generate two images for us, the front end and back end. So what we are going to do, we are going to push the both images on the Docker hub, and later on we are creating another Docker compose file. So in that Docker compose file, so we are going to pull the both images front end and back end, and then we are going to again run the application. Okay, and also we are going to pull the Mongo image as well. So then we can able to run our application, and later on the final stage we are going to create a single Docker file, and in that Docker file we are mentioning all the things. So then we can able to control the whole application in single one image, so we can able to pull that image and we can able to run as well. So don't get confused, so follow me along so you'll be understand all the things. So let's control this application. So for that, see you guys in the next video.